right. Welcome to the Rabbit Show, everyone. I'm super happy because we have someone very special joining us today. Again, after almost 13 months, it's none other than Radha Basu, CEO of iMerit Technology. And also, we'll be discussing about a lot of interesting topics about AI, ChatGPT, obviously generative AI, women in tech, much more. I had the opportunity to meet Radha in person just a few days back in Hubli, and it was such an honor to listen to her on stage with Mr. Narayan Murthy, the founder of Infosys, Srikanth, who's the CTO of Aadhaar, and many other leaders as well at the Development Dialogue event by Deshpande Foundation, which was amazing. 2 days of great interactions and a lot of learning for the tech folks, and also in general how they are upskilling the rural tech space. So it was super exciting time those 2 days. But today here we are with Radha. Welcome to the Rabbit Show, Radha. I really remember everything that we spoke last year, and just like we were discussing off air as well, that so many things that you spoke about have turned out to be so true in today's world. Like in just last 13 months, things have become so real. So definitely we'll be getting on that part as well. We'll be learning more about it, and we'll also be learning more about what's your thoughts on 2023. But to start with, why not start with your introduction, rather?
Hi, Ravit. It's really good to be back on your show. I remember as well the session last year,
Yeah.
and we were speculating about what things would happen. Anyway, let me introduce myself. I'm Radha Basu, Radha Ramaswamy Basu, CEO and founder of iMerit. iMerit, as you know, is in the AI space, and we bring AI data solutions in different areas, in mobility technologies, in geospatial, medical AI, precision agriculture, and some of these areas. And we are about 6,000 people. And something I know is very important that we discussed last time: 54% women in
Exactly.
a completely tech company, in an AI tech company. And very much, I think the way that when we were talking last year, Ravit, we were like, okay, it's in the product phase. And remember, we talked about it going out into operations and
Right.
productionizing it, and the ML ops area. And now it's actually happening, right? And
Hmm.
it's actually looking at technology at scale for
Hmm.
impact. And those words, looking at the AI technologies, that's what we look at for scale
Exactly.
and for impact, was the keynote panel at the development dialogue where we both met just last week.
Exactly.
And for me, it was such a good topic to start out with,
Hmm.
because that's at the core of what iMerit does. And yeah, I'm delighted to be with you here.
Awesome. Very nice, Radha. And definitely, you mentioned something which is always outstanding, having like 54% of your workforce, which is women in tech. And it kind of, obviously brings a lot of strength for the folks who are in the AI space. It also gives out a lot of motivation for other companies to have a good diversity in their workforce as well. And you shared a lot of insights at the development dialogue, and I'm sure a lot of folks who are watching us today didn't get that opportunity to learn more from you, Mr. Narayan Murthy, Mr. Srikanth, but definitely would love to hear it from you about the development dialogue by the Deshpande Foundation, some of the key takeaways that you feel would be interesting for our audience, and if you could share something more.
Yeah, first of all, I think that it was really special to be there with some stalwarts in the industry
Right.
Guru Raj Deshpande, his wife Jayashree, um, um, Darren Murthy, Shrikant, who um, is the, the CTO and the
Right.
technologist, I would say, behind Aadhaar, and really looking at this topic that I will mention again, because to me, that's what really kicked it off. It's
Hmm.
technology for impact and scale. So, how do we scale these technologies? Like you, and we discussed this there.
Yeah.
How did others scale and become the highest scale technology
Hmm.
globally? And how it's impacted people as a whole. And we talked about what are some of those technologies that
Hmm.
we believe would really scale and, very importantly, be key to impact or towards societal applications, broad societal applications. And as you
Right.
know, that the approach I took, and I think we had a good discussion about that,
Yeah.
it's looking at how can these technologies that we're talking about, how can they serve humanity, right? How can they be broadly for societal applications, whether it's in, and I look at AI and how it is, and the core of AI that's starting to become really scaled now is the vision part, right? The computer vision part. And then
Right.
more recently, as you well know, this is all, people ask me this probably 500 times at the development dialogue to talk about what do I think of ChatGPT and, this
Very
whole
true.
area of generative AI. And of course, and all the things that are happening between OpenAI and Google and Sam Altman and, the Google folks and stuff,
Exactly.
which is all part of a technology coming out. But I think looking at, for me, it was very much looking at the vision technologies, because when you look at vision,
Hmm.
especially vision at the edge, and and Srikant talked about vision and IoT, but vision at the edge is if you have sensors and you're doing precision agriculture, you're having vision at the edge for medical AI, vision at the edge for mobility technologies, a variety of different things. Those transform how proliferated
Hmm.
computer vision gets in the variety of different applications that are societal and humanity applications. And that's what I loved about the dialogue we had, uh, Ravit.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
No, I think 100% these are great insights, and definitely so many things kind of came out through the technology that we spoke about at the development dialogue, and so many great insights around AI, Chat GPT. Definitely, you got like such great insights to like at the event, even after that when we had the networking session. So it was amazing, Radha, and thanks for all the insights. But to move on, obviously, one question that I have, which kind of follows up, is about the AI space overall. How do you see it evolving, and where do you see it? I'm sure a lot of clients that you have at iMerit Technologies also might be wondering that, oh, do we see an upgrade now? What's next that's coming up? And I'm sure there might be a lot of discussion. They might be coming up with a lot of questions to you as well, that how do we go to the next level, and how do you see the space evolving? So just wanted to learn a little about that side as well.
Yeah, I think that is a good segue. So, if you look over the last year, 12 to 18 months, and if you recall, we had, at the time we talked last year, we had just had the first ever ML Data Ops Summit.
Right.
And a lot of people said, well, what is that? Why are you going into ML operations?
Right.
And we discussed the fact that we are taking the first steps towards productionizing AI, and
Hmm.
AI getting into a broader way of actually using AI to achieve affordable access and applications in in many areas:
Mm.
healthcare, financial inclusion, customer interaction, supply chain optimization, now more recently education, generative AI, and
Mm.
looking at things like land records, agricultural technology, natural resources, and things even like 3D printed prosthetics, and things like that. As we're starting to see that, it is not just at the product stage. I think the significant step that we've taken in the last year or 18 months, I would say, is
Mm.
this whole ML ops space, which is the operational aspects of taking AI technologies, AI products into the field, into production in a scaled manner. And
Right.
so, for example, if you look at a large number of customers, there is a lot of mobility technologies that's going into the ADAS, basically the advanced driver assist systems, right?
Right.
Now, the ADAS is going to be in every EV, every electric vehicle, in the future, every vehicle. In fact, some of the manufacturers have announced that it will be in every EV, electric vehicle, by
Mm.
2025. So when you start to look at that, when you start to look at how this can actually go into production for agriculture and medical AI and some of the supply chain optimization,
Mm.
and for India, that's particularly, these are very important things, land records. I think that is how you say there's a tipping point, right?
Mm.
That's the ML ops, is that tipping point, Ravit. And that's what's happened over the last year. We had our second ML Data Ops Summit,
Right.
and I mean, we ended up having two sessions, one for the US and Europe and that time zone. And the
Mm.
interest in India and Asia was so high, we ended up having a second one, the following day in the time zone
Right.
over here. And I think it's because it's starting to really get out there. And I won't quite call it pervasive yet, but this is the tipping point of getting AI into production. So that to me is why the AI into scale and impact. And we'll talk a little bit more about the impact part into getting into it in a broad way for societal applications. But that to me is
Mm.
the step.
Yeah, no, I think 100%. And with, I remember both the ML Data Ops Summit that you did. Also, I saw such some amazing, guests that were on the panel discussion. Maybe Manor, maybe Saint Cobrin or Jay Natarajan, all of these folks. And I also spoke to Sudeep just before the ML Data Ops Summit, and he shared such amazing insights about why it is important, why people need to learn more about this space as well, and what also iMerit, how the team at iMerit is actually changing the face to make it better and bring more education to the ML ops and the data ops space. So which was pretty interesting.
And if
To
you recall, let me mention a couple of things from that.
Yeah.
And the previous year we talked a lot about the fusion of human intelligence and robotic intelligence, right?
Mm.
You advanced to the ML Up Summit just 2 months ago, 3 months ago. This was before this whole generative AI ChatGPT broke out. And
Mm.
Manohar actually talked about the importance of generative AI. In fact, that was the sort of the some of the main discussions. If you call, we had a fireside chat and we talked about this and how that will pervade into all customer service and in the way we do document AI. And it started sort of in December, January, like literally within a month after
Yeah.
that,
Right.
it started to really come out and now it's taken things by storm. But I think that and vision are the two
Mm.
things that have really moved forward and are getting into the production area.
No, 100%. And that's so true. Just it's like with iMerit, I feel, rather, I spoke to you last year, All the things kind of manifested very well this year. And even just 3 months back in the conference, so many things which was spoken kind of came out to be so true, close to what you are kind of anticipating. So uh, for our audience, for those who go and want to learn more about, they can actually go and check out the ML Data Ops. It's on demand, and I'll also share the link with the other folks, so they can learn more about these sessions. But to come back to something which was, you spoke about something which is very important, and I know for a fact where I met, it supports a lot of women in tech, and also have that building, inclusive AI workforce is something you get. iMerit has always done that. So can you tell us what's the next big thing that you're planning, Radha? What's coming up in 2023? How are you planning to obviously include more women in tech, but at the same time get the AI workforce to next level?
So I think first I would say, Ravit, that for us, inclusive AI is not, it's, it is a critical part of our go to market.
Mm,
It's a critical business differentiator. And let me say a little bit about what do I mean by that?
mm,
One way to look at it is to say that is, having diversity, its impact, etc. And I totally, as you know, believe in it. We're 54% women of a
actually.
6,000 workforce.
Mm,
But it is not just about the people, right? It is
true.
about the fact that this creates excellent business differentiation. We have attrition in a time last year when I think attrition was running close to 40%, right, in the tech area, and it was called
Very
the
true.
Great Resignation Year. We were consistently in the 10% and under. Even for me, even go to a double digit like 10%, I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Where we're there. And
Oh,
people would kind of laugh at me and say, what are you talking about? But
exactly.
that is a critical business differentiator. And how is that related to women? With the women in our company, we're running more like a retention of about 94, 95, 96%.
Oh,
And it is because it is a continuous evolution of working with the newest technologies. I can tell you one of
mm,
the exciting things for me in working in this company, which I love dearly, is there is not a week, a month where we are not doing something new and learning about it, and deep
wow.
diving into it. And because of that, people are excited about being with us. It even extends to things like leadership training. Many of the people in our company
Mm,
who come from very young, right? Where average age of the company is under 24 and a half. That whole joke about if it were not for me, it would be at 23 and a half, which my company says. But it's people learning new things. And that excitement is what is the retention. But why is that business good business? Because, in fact, it's excellent business. Because in AI, as you're taking AI products to market into the ML data ops, a lot of the edge case information, anomalies have all come through the development of training the models. And so you've brought all that into the ops monitoring side. And so
mm,
we have that expertise. And so clients see somebody working on their team for 3 years. The other thing it does that's happened over the last year for us, a major transformation is the technologies that we have developed. Like for medical AI, we have technologies that are focused on whether it's radiology annotation or different kinds of things, that edge case modules, anomaly monitoring and labeling, and being able to get into the mapping side. So as we going from the ML model development into, or the AI model development into the
mm,
ML ops, there is a set of things that are very tied to technology platform. And that has
Right.
been a major investment, which is the whole reason why you spoke to Sudeep. And as you know, we have a chief product and technology officer, Raj, who came from
Right.
Qualcomm in the United States and is really proficient in the AI technology area. So for us looking forward this next year, it is so much about that technology tools, the technology platform, the edge case modules, the anomalies, the dashboards related to data insight and analytics that we call ground control, and bringing these products to market. And I would say, if I had to say it in a short way, that AI will be about productized solutions going to market. That means
Mm.
there will be a productized set of solutions around medical AI. There will be productized solutions which has the technology, the expertise, the technique, the people trained in it coming together because clients don't want it to be piecemeal. Clients have a business problem and
Mm.
they want to give us the problem and they want us to provide a productized solution to it. So even pricing has become product unit pricing. And so taking that to market it could be a productized solution around video gaming, it could be a solution around
Mm.
precision agriculture. So taking those productized solutions to market, which has the technology, the talent, and the technique. If you remember, we talked about this. Those
Right.
three coming together in a productized solution is the focus of this year for us.
Wow, I can't wait to see what's happening, this year. And definitely, you spoke about something which is very important in any field. Like I speak to so many leaders, and obviously, one big problem is always attrition. Where like you mentioned, it was with a lot of companies we've seen 40-45% attrition rate, and it's unreal to even think about just 10% of attrition for a tech company, which is the major reason definitely is because iMerit has always focused on something which is upskilling and getting something new to the market, making sure that the employees are always learning, upskilling. Even at the senior level, it's not something where they kind of sit on something which is stagnant. There's always learning process that kind of happens, and that also, I'm sure, that also brings out a lot for the customers, because they have so many things that they can look forward to, and also include it in their portfolio that okay, we also offer this now because we obviously work with iMerit.
Yeah, then
So
the people
yeah.
become, I'm sorry to interrupt, a virtual
Yeah.
extension of the client's team. And
Practice.
another important point that I want to emphasize is because of this amount of time that they're working on the problem, whether it's in the model phase going into the operations phase, the contribution of the people into developing the technologies
Hmm.
has become really key. That's why we're able to come out with a whole set of technologies focused on these different productized solutions in a fairly, I would say, vigorous time frame, because the expertise to contribute to it is there in a broader way in the company, and they can work with the technology and engineering team. We have a technology team that's is a fairly large team across the US. We have ML engineers, we have ML automation people, we have people working on all the ground control, which is the data insight that we provide to clients on all of these anomalies and edge cases and ML monitoring. So those things, it makes basically data intelligence becomes our business. And that is at
Hmm.
the core of what we do. And to that technology, set of technologies, our people contribute a lot because of the retention. It's kind of, that's why I was saying it's a very important business differentiator.
Hmm. No, 100%. I agree. And, it kind of also puts you at the forefront when, when iMerit comes up with something new. iMerit is so confident about what they're doing. And also, it's more on the lines where the employees kind of feel upskilled all the time. They kind of feel more confident
Yeah.
about what's happening. and that makes iMerit and the folks, like I've spoken to obviously Raj as well, Sudeep as well. I constantly be in touch with Brett. I know all the folks have such great insights about the space, and that's only because when it's coming from the leadership level, that you've given them that freedom, that please go ahead, learn more things, come up with ideas, and that makes iMerit special for sure. But my question, my next question is something around which is my favorite question for sure, about the trends in 2023 in AI and data science. So what are your thoughts there, Rather? Definitely I'll be coming back to you next year again, and then telling you that this is what you predicted. It came out so well. So happy to hear your thoughts around the top data science and AI trends in 2023 that you feel.
So I will talk a little bit about it generally, and then
Hmm.
um, towards the um, for India itself, because I know a lot of your listeners are definitely looking at that. So I started by talking about the importance of vision at the edge, and by that I mean computer vision at the edge, and really proliferating everything that we're getting into, of taking AI into that. I think the second one is um, what generative AI is doing is making us rethink
Hmm.
this concept of robotic and the fusion of the robotic and the human intelligence. So it's sort of almost iterative. So
Right.
as generative AI, and that's the whole beauty of generative AI, right? So
Exactly.
there is a certain technology, and there is the human intelligence added to it, which then allows the AI itself to be generative and to be continuing. So it is changing our audio, speech,
Right.
and multilingual interfaces. The other thing that I think, is really emerging is is that multimodal.
Hmm.
This is now um, image and speech are starting to take, not so much replace, but certainly starting to take the place of text heavy technology medium, right? So
Hmm.
this multimodal technologies are happening. Now let's look a little bit at where are we applying it, and that's what really excites me. It's going into healthcare, it's going into financial inclusion, it's definitely going into customer interaction, not just customer service.
Yeah.
The other one, I think, that for India is going to be really important is we talk about this whole self reliant India campaign as the vision of New India, right?
Right.
Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. So self reliant India. Now, this vision, it's not, technology is one aspect of it. It's opening up new avenues of trade, investment, employment in the post pandemic economy. And it's it brings together the economy, the infrastructure, the systems, the demography, the vibrant demography, and the demand. So what does that mean? You have to take the technology and be able to create an ecosystem around the people, which is a lot of the demography for us, is a lot of young people. But
Right.
very important in that is it's not just a labor arbitrage. It has to be the technology and the supply chain. That is very important. And the investments in manufacturing and supply chain, power costs, skilling, logistics, compliance, R&D, all of this make up the productivity for being self reliant. And I think the applications of AI into this. I personally think the data intelligence around um, the natural resources, supply chain optimization, infrastructure maintenance are going to be very important. Healthcare.
Mm.
And this application is where the rural technologies also comes in. And one of my favorite topics is frugal innovation. And I
Mm.
think that for at least at iMerit, it's if you go beyond the AI technology, it's about frugal innovation and being
Right.
an inclusivity leader and bringing those two together. And I think that's going to be very important as we take very forward technologies like AI and apply
Mm.
it broadly, especially through to rural infrastructure and being able to make rural development happen. And you saw some of that at
Right.
the development dialogue, and I think that was pretty exciting, wasn't it?
True. I think it kind of also brings out a lot of insights in to see how things could be applied in the rural world as well through these types of technologies where AI has gone forward, and at a broader level, if it's applied, a lot of development happens on its own. The rural, the people in the rural areas have become so smart. They've started applying. They know the importance of AI as well. So it's just that how good you are with the application, and things can change very quickly.
Could I add one more thing? I think
Yeah.
that, when you look at rural India, when you talk about frugal innovation, right? You
Hmm.
want to know about crop intelligence through smart AI,
Exactly.
GIS, defense, natural resource management, liberalized drone laws will help in a lot of that, high resolution topographical survey and mapping, and high accuracy model, an elevation model for the country. It can be in precise water resources. So, this multimodality of the role of computer vision at the edge, mapping, data intelligence, bringing those three together, and with the kinds of applications that we need, I think that to me is where iMerit is going and it's working in, but that is where the future is as well in terms of making this work in India. And I think it's that inclusivity is a very exciting way of bringing it together because in India you need that for the large populations
Exactly.
and the demographics, right? So yeah,
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree anymore. And definitely, all this kind of makes a lot of sense. Great insights on the top trends that you kind of feel would be out there in 2023, Radha. And I'm sure our audience definitely have a lot many more questions for you. Keeping the time in mind, obviously, what I'll also suggest is I'll share Radha's profile link. You can reach out to Radha, ask questions there, and at the same time, feel free to tag in Radha and ask questions. We'll definitely be keeping you guys updated with what iMerit is coming, and if Radha, are we also planning anything around the summit this year as well?
absolutely. I think this year's summit, I mean, Brett's already started working on it.
Oh
And
wow!
this year's summit, one of the things that we're thinking is we may actually end up, because now it's so global, that we may end up having it in three geographies, having different speakers,
Wow!
mixing the speakers across multiple geographies, and taking these three or four topics, especially vision at the edge, which we're very good at, the
Yeah.
inclusivity, and then looking at, of course, generative AI, and then taking it across multiple geographies, and then having the application areas be more tailored, customized towards those geographies. I think that's what we're looking forward to. And yeah, definitely. In fact, I was going to suggest, you talked about the different people who've been on your program from iMerit. You need
Yeah.
to get Jeff Mills on it because he
Oh yeah.
brings an excitement. He is the touch point with the clients, and he brings an excitement that would be that, it's a different perspective. It's absolutely from the client perspective,
Exactly.
and he's quite an exciting speaker as well. So we'll
Yeah, I
be
would
with
love
you.
to. Yeah, 100%. I would love to get him because it's always, interesting when a person who's kind of, always with the customers, understanding the pain points at the same time, solving those problems for them, they kind of bring a different insight game altogether. So I'll check with Brett, but it would be super interesting to have Jeff as on the Ravit show. But all this information, rather, first of all, meeting you at Development Dialogue was amazing. You've shared amazing insights there at the Development Dialogue about tech, about AI, about obviously the things that you've been doing at iMerit is phenomenal, and obviously having 54% of the workforce uh, who are women is incredible. I haven't heard any company having a workforce which is like 54%, and that too out of 6,000 plus employees. It's huge. So congrats on that. But if folks want to reach out to you, is LinkedIn the best place to reach out and
Yeah,
ask
true.
any
Like
question
we
that
did last time, people posted questions.
yeah,
The only thing, as you know, for the next 2 weeks, I'll be up at
yeah,
15,000 feet in the Himalayas. So, but uh, definitely, I mean, I responded to a lot of them and working with
yeah,
through you as well. Yeah, and Brett. So we're available. And one of the things is when people reach out, there is such great questions and ideas. It
exactly.
actually, last time I remember two, three of the questions, we got into a little discussion in the company as to, oh, that's a good question. How would we address that? And so
Wow,
there was that turned out to be because your audience is fairly knowledgeable about the AI space and
great.
analytics and things like that. So I think that that would be very interesting. And of course, we'd respond. And Brett coordinates with you fairly often. Yeah,
Awesome. Yeah,
please reach
awesome.
out.
Yeah, exactly. For our audience, thanks for attending the Ravit show, and definitely bring on those hard questions for Radha and the iMerit team so they can work on it more and they can get more ideas and bring more insights to the community. So thank you again, Radha, for visiting the Ravit show. It was such an honor to have you, and you have an amazing 2 weeks ahead of your hiking.
Thank you, Ravit. It was great to be back on your show. And
Thank you very much.
yeah, it's great to talk to your audience. Thank you.